PG-13 horror is usually not my cup of tea, but this still looked interesting enough to give it a shot. And I'm glad I did because it's actually pretty damn good. Almost surprisingly good. It's an Iranian movie. Well, it's set in Iran, and they speak whatever they speak there. Farsi maybe? But apparently it's not actually shot in Iran. And the guy who made it is actually London based. And from the text in the beginning, which is in English, it's pretty clear the movie is aimed at an international audience. But as I said, it's set in Iran, during the 80s and the Iran-Iraq war. And it's about this woman who wants to continue her medical studies, which not everyone is happy about. And the home life isn't that great either. And then there's of course the war. They're constantly under threat of being bombed and potentially killed. So that's obviously gonna cause a fair bit of stress, right? And she has a daughter too. And both of them start experiencing some strange things. But what exactly is going on? And is it all in their heads? It's a pretty basic horror premise. But hey, if done right, it definitely works. And this works. Now on the surface you could look at this movie as a political statement. A movie about the war and the effect it has on people, or a movie about how women are treated like second-class citizens over there. And sure, there is a lot of that, which granted is kinda odd for a horror movie. But all of that is really just there to set the mood, to build up a sort of oppressive and unstable atmosphere, to make sure you don't get too comfortable. There's always something that could go wrong at any time. Like sure, the deeper issues are there, but you can ignore all of that if you want to, and just enjoy it as a horror movie, because believe me, it works on that level too. Very well actually. And I can't really put my finger on what makes it so effective, but it is. It's super creepy. And I mean, I had shivers running down my entire body a couple of times. It throws in a few jump scares here and there, but that's not really the good stuff. That's the suspense and the atmosphere, the whole mood of the movie. And it really doesn't do anything too fancy. There's a little bit of CGI and stuff, but for the most part it does a lot with very little. It's not the more elaborate stuff that's great, it's the little things, the more subtle stuff. Now for the most part, it doesn't really do anything I haven't seen before, but it just does everything so well. And it's a really effective horror movie. Now there is one shot I wanted to mention. It's really simple. And I've seen variations of it before, but I don't think I've seen it done quite like that. It's just a quick little shot of her waking up and getting out of bed. But the way the framing worked and the camera moved was really cool. Now I think all the other stuff, the political stuff, just adds a layer that most horror movies don't have. And the great thing is that it's not shoehorned in. It's actually integral to the story, which is exactly how you should incorporate this kind of stuff into a movie. But as I said, you can still ignore the message and just enjoy the ride if you want to. Now the ending felt maybe a bit unsatisfying to me. I don't think it's great, but it's not terrible either. It's just kinda open-ended, at least from the spooky side of things. It doesn't really resolve that whole thing very well. I mean, if you look at this story from a certain point of view, then yeah, it's resolved. But the problem is, then you're kind of forced to look at it from that perspective, if you want a satisfying ending. You're not really given the choice to make up your own mind about what happened, or to speculate, which is fine I guess, but it just didn't end up wrapping it all up in a way that I felt was completely satisfying. That being said, it's still a pretty damn good movie, and surprisingly creepy. I liked it. It really got under my skin. So would I recommend it? Yeah, go watch it. Or don't. I'm not your dad.